Today on the channel, back from San Diego Comic-Con 2025, and we dive into all the news. And today, we're talking AEW Jazzwares. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another news recap San Diego Comic-Con video. And today, we got AEW Jazzwares in the crosshairs, and we're going to dive into all the news from Jazzwares and AEW coming off of San Diego Comic-Con 2025. And been quite the AEW week for me as well. Check out the videos on the channel of the booth tours, all that kind of stuff. But I also went to AEW Collision in Chicago like a young Ozzy Osbourne. I've been saying it for a long time, R.I.P. Ozzy. But no rest for the wicked, as we know. I was at San Diego, flew very early, got up at like 3:30 in the morning, Saturday morning, flew to Chicago, my wife, kids, picked them up and went to the hotel, changed clothes, dropped them off at Wrigley Field for a little K-pop action. And Jeff George, good friend of the channel, and I went down the street to the Aragon Ballroom and checked out the AEW show Collision there. So quite the wild week that was around AEW with their figures and a little wrestling show thrown in. But AEW, of course, Jazzwares, prominent at San Diego Comic-Con, as usual. But we always have to set the table a little bit with Jazzwares and AEW because a lot of people dog on them. They don't show anything. They don't have as big a display. They don't have as much room as Mattel. Well, it's not apples to apples. Yes, they're both wrestling. We totally get that. But in the size of scale and the size of sales, they are not apples to apples. And Jazzwares is going to be promoting a little bit heavier on Five Nights at Freddy's, Squishmallows, Pokemon, things like that. We have to take that business step back and think of where the bread is buttered for certain companies. Mattel, obviously WWE is a huge part of Mattel. They got a huge spot over there. You can say the same thing about Masters. Even though it was dialed back a little bit, I felt this year at Masters, there's a lot going on with these companies and different lines, different sizes, things like that. So you always got to set the table there. It's not fair to say, well, they don't have as big of a spread as Mattel. They don't have as many reveals. They're not going to have as many figures as Mattel either. We have to remember that. Mattel puts out hundreds of figures every single year between like 7, 8 different toy lines. AEW's got basically 2 toy lines with exclusives peppered throughout that. So you always got to take that step back. It's not going to be the same as Mattel. And I think a lot of people do miss out on that there. But the booth looked good. Last year, you had that big mountain they were climbing. This year was like kind of a classic TV setup, which I found to be a little interesting as well. Jeremy Padower, good friend of the channel there, of course, wrote the foreword to my first book, The Complete Guide to the Classic Superstars. Pick it up on Amazon, Barnes & Noble if you have not already. Talked to Jeremy for a while as well. Got to see Galactus walk by when I was with Jeremy, so good to see Jeremy all the time there. I did mention in my other videos, you get the lottery for San Diego Comic-Con. This year, I did get Jazzwares, so I was lucky enough to get in line to get Swerve. I had my window, I think it was Friday, 3 to 4. I could go in there, pick that up, so that was always nice to see that. Sounds like they might not do the lottery next year. They're going to go back to the days of waiting in line, which pros and cons of that, as we always do say. If you like fighting it out and you like waiting in lines, that's going to be the line for you, but then things sell out a heck of a lot faster. I don't know. There's pros and cons, as I always do say, but it sounds like they're going to go away from the lottery next year, go back to the line waiting. So if you like to wait in line, that's going to be the place for you. So be ready for that as well. There was also some of the AEW talent walking around for Jazzwares, but also for other properties. Swerve was there. He was on the panel. We'll get to that here in a second. Speedball Mike Bailey was there. They did an interview with him from the Jazzwares booth. No figures of him quite yet. Samoa Joe was there. I think he was there more for Twisted Metal. And then I did see Danhausen walking around. It was just, nobody was bothering Danhausen. I think people thought he was just cosplaying. And I walked up and said, hey, Danhausen. And he said, hello. And he walked on, and that was it. So good to see Danhausen for 2 seconds. Swerve was at the panel, of course, and there was a lot of Swerve stuff shown, as you can imagine. Once again, the Mattel panel was WWE only. Jazzwares panel, guess what? It was Star Wars Micro Galaxy. It was Pokemon, Squishmallows. It was Jazzwares. So you can't apples to apples it once again. You get 10 minutes of Jazzwares AEW stuff. If you're lucky, you get 20 minutes of Pokemon and so forth. That's just the way the old cookie crumbles, as one may say as well. But Swerve was there at the panel. Of course, he had the San Diego Comic-Con 101,000 exclusive. Check out the review on the channel. I did unbox that one. We also saw an upcoming Ringside Collectibles 2-pack with Prince Nana, which is really cool. Love to get managers and things, so it'd be cool to get Prince Nana. We do have a Target exclusive coming in the future. No surprise there. And another Shop AEW exclusive. So going to be the year of Swerve. A lot of Swerve figures coming at us fast and furious there. But Now let's dive into some of the reveals and some of the news that broke right before San Diego Comic-Con that we didn't get to cover because we didn't do a toy news last week because I was at San Diego Comic-Con, obviously. But up in Canada, it sounded like EB Games up there in Canada got these apparently going to be future Target exclusives. Have to imagine these are coming very soon. If they're already up there, they're going to be here soon. We did see an Orange Cassidy, of course, a shirtless Orange Cassidy. How about that with the title belt? Looks good. Another Orange Cassidy makes sense. Very excited for my boy Luchasaurus, aka Kill Switch, getting another figure. This will be what, his fourth figure? 2 under Kill Switch. And then we got the first one, and then you got the 2-pack with Jack Perry. So 4 different Kill Switch figures. You know I'm here for that. I'm happy to see that one there. And then we got a 2-pack of the former Edge and Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. Not sure about that one in the head sculpt design there, but it'd be very interesting to see how that one ends up netting out. But it does look good. I am happy to get some of these 2-packs. I'm happy to get some more of these Target releases. A lot of people claim all the time the line's dead, the line's dead. Well, clearly not if they're putting these ones out here and apparently have been accepted by Target. You can head over to Ringside Collectibles right now using discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. For AEW Unrivaled Collection Series 18. We got Mark Briscoe, Mariah May, Okada, Jack Perry, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Jarrett in that line. They did show some renders online there. Mariah May down to the wire, 1 of 5,000, her first ever figure. You know we're going to get Mattel figures. Nothing on that, of course, obviously at San Diego Comic-Con. Probably next year, WrestleMania will be a little bit more Mariah May stuff. I think they would have her release right around, maybe a little after that. We'll at least probably see the prototype of the figure at minimum at WrestleMania next year. But we got Mariah May coming to that. Mark Briscoe returned to the line. We just unboxed Mark Briscoe last week, the Ring of Honor Jazzwares Vault Edition. That one looks good to see. We also got, of course, Jeff Jarrett, old Double J himself. Give me all the Jeff Jarretts. That one was at the booth on display. Looks amazing. I love the Jeff Jarrett figures AEW has done so far, and this one is going to be great as well. Samoa Joe, I always think of the black and yellow, the classic NXT gear. We're getting that here. Jack Perry, don't call him Jungle Boy anymore. We got Jack Perry coming in. And then we got Okada. And my Okada Shop AEW, I think, is coming sometime this week. Probably here by the time you're watching this video. We will unbox that on the channel as well. But Unrivaled 18 up for pre-order at Ringside right now, if that is your thing. But they weren't done. We got a new Blood and Guts exclusive. I love the Blood and Guts line. This is an interesting one with Jon Moxley returning to that. Now, we've had a few bloody Jon Moxleys in the past. This one looks very good. I'm not 100%. I should remember this because I was at the event, but there was that Dynamite episode where he took on Adam Copeland. He took the spike to the back. They reenacted that, of course, in the display case, which I thought was really cool. I'm not sure if that's the same match as this. I hope it is because I was there in the front row. A lot of you guys saw me on TV. That was a pretty cool event, but I love the Blood and Guts line. Happy to see that one continuing once again as a Ringside collectible exclusive. Looking very good right there. Diving into the collection a little bit, or some of the displays. Of course, they had Swerve on display. It's the show 1 of 1,000, so of course they're going to have that there. Very cool to see 2 Nature Boy Ric Flair figures there. Some classic Ric Flair figures. Now, I'm a Flair guy from when I was a little kid, so I'm happy to see some of that mixed in there. I thought that looks really cool. We saw some of the Unrivaled 18 performers down low. Ring full of setup there. Some of those fell over, and that's kind of the way it goes at San Diego Comic-Con. A lot of these displays, some of the figures fall over on you, but they did have some of that going on. We saw the Mercedes Monet in there as well. So a lot of cool stuff coming that way in the future here. Now, they did show off the AEW Supreme. Apparently no longer a Walmart exclusive. This one up at Jazzwares Vault. Up right now if you want to go to the Jazzwares Vault and pick this one up. I think it's shipping in like November. It is a limited pre-order window. A lot of people want the Will Ospreay, so now's your chance to get the Supreme. You don't have to fight the Walmart on all that rigmarole. You can get that one right, ready to go, ready for you. But then we did see some more reveals coming for the future. We did see a new Kenny Omega. Of course, we've had a lot of Omegas, as we know, but we got another one coming. A Chris Statlander with robe. This is a much improved figure over her last one, I do think. Happy to get a new Chris Statlander figure. We did see Hook, and he's coming with the FTW belt. Somebody send Hook, and he's been missing from TV for a while. Have to imagine his return is coming as well. Unfortunately, no Rio figures shown. I don't know how that works. I know she's not on TV, but why not just come out with Rio? It's a license to print money. Come on, what are we doing? Should have asked Jeremy that. But we also saw a few more coming out of San Diego Comic-Con. We got Kyle Fletcher, a guy that's all over TV lately. We're going to get him in the line, as we do know. And we're getting a Chase and Rare Edition, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure which one of which it is, but 2 different looks for Kyle Fletcher. Young up-and-coming whippersnapper. We also got Chris Jericho, another guy no stranger to the line. I was shocked we haven't seen Jericho back. I figured he'd come back at All In. A good friend of the channel, Jeff George, we were at Collision, and he was dialing up Jericho there from the audience. And where are you? Why aren't you here? And he's like, oh, I'm not here tonight. He goes, you guys have fun, all that kind of fun stuff. But no Jericho on the horizon. I guess he's busy with quarantine, of course. Shout out to Quarantine, playing the Kiss Vegas show in November. So if you want to see Jericho, you know you'll see him there. But we've got 2 different versions of Jericho coming there as well. We also got Billy Gunn, a man that just dances around all these toy lines, just living that dream is what he's doing. We got Billy Gunn coming, of course, with the pink title belt, which I think is really cool. We got Roosh. Don't call him Rush. Don't call him Rush. It's Roosh. I know you're Canadian, Mr. McFarlane, but it's not Getty. It's not Getty Lee and Alex and Neil. It's not that. It's a different one, but it's Roosh. We got him coming here into the line, looking pretty good there. Mercedes Moné, mentioned it earlier. We got a Shop AEW exclusive. We got a regular one. There's going to be a lot of Mercedes figures, so be on the lookout for those coming here very soon. Does come with a TBS Women's Championship belt. Jericho, once again, with the classic Hi Guys shirt. We got that going. Totally annoying. One of the most annoying Jericho personas ever, but if it's annoying, does that mean it worked? There's 2 ways to look at that there a little bit. We got an old man Sting coming once again, but he's got that red shirt over the top. Of course, Sting, very buttoned up, very cold in his old age, Todd McFarlane. Very buttoned up there, but we do got red shirted Sting coming. We do got another classic. Is this Cesaro? Who is this? It does look like, no, it's Moxley. I thought it was Cesaro for a second, but it is Moxley, and it looks like a new head sculpt because obviously the bald head going on with this one. We got the jeans going on, and he's got the camo jacket there. I thought it was Cesaro at first. Well, you bald-headed guys all look the same to me. Who knows? Speaking of bald heads, how about Ricochet coming first time in the line? We're getting Ricochet right in there. It looks pretty good. Another Ricochet in here. Of course, this one with a shirt instead of the entrance jacket, so I'm guessing Chase Edition is probably what they're doing. That's usually the way we end up seeing those things going down. There was a few more good ones we did see up on the TV screen. I was thankful they did send images out later because trying to get them on that TV screen was hard. It was like a classic TV, so it had some lines in it. So I was glad they sent out some pictures to everybody, but we're finally, seems like it's been forever, we're finally getting Colt Cabana, apparently a Jazzwares Ring of Honor figure here, but it's going to be cool to have a Colt Cabana figure. It's been way overdue, way too long. We did see, of course, the former Ember Moon, now Athena, running wild all over AEW TV, as well as Ring of Honor with the Ring of Honor World title, female title, obviously, and a set of wings with her. So I got to think that one's going to be a very popular one. So we got that one coming. And then a bit of a surprise, but maybe it shouldn't be, of course, the relationship with Matt Cardona, Jeremy Padawer. You know he's going to do anything to get a figure out. We are getting a Jazzwares Matt Cardona in his Ghostbusters gear, of course, from his match in New York City against one Chris Jericho once upon a time. So it's going to be cool to get Matt Cardona in another line. Have to think this will be a good seller. But it is in the Ghostbuster gear, which you know Matt's going to enjoy that as well. We did see Darby Allin coming. This one's going to be really cool. He comes with the flamethrower. Absolutely wild. He's like a young blowtorch from G.I. Joe. I guess that's the crossover figure we need. But we do get the flamethrower edition of Darby Allin. We're really taking it to the next level. We need Jack Perry in the flames as well while we're at it. But that one's going to be interesting. And then first time in the line, he did have an FTC once upon a time. It is Dalton Castle. Now that jumpsuit should be very interesting for him. Can't wait to see that one in person. And then we get the Jericho that matches that, of course, Matt Cardona. I love that he's got the Statue of Liberty like glasses going on. Of course, you got the Ring of Honor World title belt with him as well. Very cool to see that Jericho. And then the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels, finally getting him here as well. A more modern Christopher Daniels, I guess is what that would be. Cool to get a legend like him in the line. And then last but certainly not least, two really good brothers finally getting their figures. Have to imagine it's a layup in the Shop AEW Big Rubber Guys line. We'll get the Outrunners, but we're first going to get them, it looks like here, from Jazzwares. So very cool to get them. I believe it was going to be a 2-pack. So an Outrunners 2-pack, take all my money. Absolutely love the Outrunners. They kind of just bounce around the shows. I wish they could do a little bit more, but man, oh man, Outrunner Mania running wild. Cannot wait to get those. And like I said, I have to imagine Big Rubber Guys in the future for these. I don't know. It writes itself, does it not? But quite the showing from Jazzwares. I know some people probably in the comments here will say they didn't show enough, they didn't talk enough, but you always got to put that business hat on. We got to take a little bit of that step back with Jazzwares. I think too often we compare them to Mattel. We just can't do that. And I guess it's very similar to AEW wrestling and WWE wrestling. Yes, they're both wrestling, but they're different planets as far as revenue and notoriety at this point. Same thing with the toy lines, but it's a little train that'll keep chugging, and hopefully we continue to get good figures in the future from San Diego Comic-Con 2025 and absolutely beyond. So it'll be interesting to follow up on all these as they are released. And of course, we'll do that here on this channel. So make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel and my other YouTube channel. Check out YouTube channel memberships and Patreon to support the channel for even more content. Exclusive giveaways over there, Q&As, all points in between, all the glamour shots from both videos, as well as my podcast much earlier than everybody else. Of course, The Kyle Peterson Show, available wherever podcasts are found each and every single Tuesday. Video cast also on YouTube. Support the channel, support the podcast. Appreciate all the support out there. Sir Paul64 on the X is where you can get a hold of me. _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, The Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com. So for San Diego Comic-Con 2025 AEW Jazzwares reveals, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?